Hello everybody, Necromancy for Kids here once again, this time bringing you a real-life deck profile. I haven't really done these because I don't play in person, there isn't really locals around here, and also my collection for GOAT is not that big. About 90% of these cards I found are GOAT cards, but most of them aren't really playable. But I'm going to go through all of these and try to see what kind of a GOAT format deck I could make for you guys as a 300 subscriber thank you or special, I guess you could say. And hopefully it'll be able to make something that's somewhat playable, though it's definitely not going to be top tier. And I will get back to you with the deck profile. Alright, this is going to be a little bit scuffed, but I managed to make my deck, and it doesn't really look like many archetype cards are in my collection, but I did manage to find a couple. I only have one Chaos Sorcerer, no BLS, so Chaos is definitely not going to work. I could have made Monarchs, but what I ultimately decided to go with was Zombies. They're one of my favorite decks, and I have most of the cards, although you'll see some of the staples are missing. But hopefully, this version of the deck is at least interesting or funny to you. So let's get started. Of course, first off, we've got two, oh my god, scuffed already. Two Ryukoki in the deck, the big beater boss monster. But to go alongside our Ryukoki, I also have a Patrician of Darkness, which, for those who don't know, 2000 attack beater zombie that says you can choose the target of your opponent's attacks. Back in the playground days, we used to play that this card could choose for your opponent's monsters to attack themselves, so it made it a really overpowered card. But unfortunately, in Go format, it does not have such a rule. um, it's not a great card, but I don't have Vampire Lord, and I didn't have a third Koki even, so that's what I have to go with, and it does have some small synergy with some of the other cards in this deck, such as the Searcher card, Pyramid Turtle, which of course, if I have three, I'm going to play three of them, and I do have three. Brings out your zombies, every single zombie in the deck, good card, makes the zombie deck work. And of course, to search that, I've got two giant rats. One of my favorite cards, if not my favorite card, in Go format. It also lets you search for some other cards, which includes one Exiled Force. But Exiled Force is not a lone card in this deck, as you'll see later, as there is a bit of a warrior package in here. But moving on, filling out our quota of zombies. Also got one Spirit Reaper. Got it in the rare with that sweet corner damage. And as well, got the Regenerating Mummy. 1800 attack, 1500 defense. If your opponent duos you, you can bring it back to your hand. So overpowered. But in all seriousness, not a bad beater. In all honesty, I do like to play one of it in the side or the main in zombie decks, because it's another target for when you run out of targets, and makes your Book of Life more live. And also, we've got Sangan to search about half of the deck. Probably, actually, a little bit less than half, but importantly, searches for things like Pyramid Turtle. And alongside that, we've got one Breaker the Magical Warrior. Got that beautiful Common Breaker. But I do have a rare Tribe Infecting Virus to go along with that. Help you pitch your big fat zombies out of your hand and get rid of those walls your opponent's playing. And I have one copy of Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer in my deck as well. Unfortunately, I only own one copy, otherwise I would be playing more of them. And then you're starting to see some of the warrior package, probably the spiciest warrior in this deck. I have one copy of Goblin Attack Force. Run over your opponent's Chaos Sorcerer. Deal 2300 damage, attacking directly. Big fat card. Also has synergy with some of the other cards you'll see. And with Partition of Darkness, you can prevent your opponent from being able to attack it while it's in defense. Huh? Then next up, I have one Knight Assailant. I only own one copy, otherwise I probably would play another copy instead of Goblin Attack Force. And I've got one DD Warrior Lady. And to round out our monsters in this deck, I have one more spicy attack for you, and that is Gigantes. You can banish your Goblin Attack Force, DD Warrior Lady that hasn't been able to use her, or DD Assailant rather, that hasn't used her effect. Pyramid Turtles, Giant Rat. Get a free special summon, and with Partition of Darkness, you can force your opponent to attack into it to blow up their own back row if they decide to attack. That rounds out our monsters. Next up, got that super graceful Charity and a rare Pot of Greed. Heavy Storm. I do not own Duo, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would most certainly be playing it in this deck. Snatch Steal. And a red MST, which I made myself with a marker probably in 2010, 2009. Every time I played it at locals, my opponents would be confused as to what card I just played, and then they looked at it and like, oh, it's MST. I think it looks pretty cool, but maybe not. Let me know what you guys think. Got Premature Burial, and of course I have two Noblemen of Crossout. And then we start getting into the more specific cards, specifically for this deck. Got two Creature Swap. Creature Swap, who also synergizes with our Goblin Attack Force and, of course, our Recruiters. Because you can attack with Goblin Attack Force, destroy something, then use Creature Swap, give them the crappy, cannot change battle position Goblin Attack Force, and take their big monster. You can also give your opponent a Gigantes to then be able to blow up all of their back row. I got one Book of Life. I only own one, unfortunately. And I have a Super Reinforcement of the Army. And a Super Brain Control. Probably not the greatest card in the world, but, I can be able to unbrick some of my hands. And to be honest, I don't have too many other cards I could put in this slot. I think I had a Smashing Ground I could put here. But, sometimes you can just steal games by stealing opponents' monsters. So I thought, why not? One rare Book of Moon. Got my cards flying away again. And one Tribute to the Doomed to pitch our bricky cards. And next up, I've got the Trap lineup. I do own a common Mirror Force, common Torrential, and Call the Haunted. I do not own Ring, unfortunately. Actually, I do own Ring, but it is in one of my binders, and I don't want to take it out. I only wanted to use the cards that you saw earlier. Then I've got two Sakuretsu Armor and a Bottomless Trap Hole, because I didn't have a third Sakuretsu Armor or anything else really. I do own one Decree, so maybe I could have, cut down the traps and put in one Decree. But, I thought it was a lot more fun to do it this way. So that is my deck, guys. Now my cards are flying everywhere. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I probably won't do very many of these in the future unless my locals open up and I can start, dueling other people in real life and buy some cards. But thank you very much, everybody, for all my subscribers. Thank you for watching my videos. I just do it for fun and to give some joy, hopefully, to other people. And hope you all have a good one.